Hello ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome here in the cave from Massimo, or lunchroom. And as you can probably hear, it's Dutch weather outside, so we're nice and warm inside, but it's raining outside, so you might hear that in the mics. Nevertheless, our heart gets very warm looking at this, of course, the radical Porsche 928. A very early model in this case, so a pre-facelift car. And this, like I said, was a very, very radical change for Porsche at the time. Of course, they had been making 911s for a very long time, and a change was needed in design ideas and in engineering ideas. So specifically for the 928, a lovely smooth V8 was developed, and of course it's mounted not in the back but in the front here in this very long, elegant nose. Pop-up headlights here in this radical shark nose front end with the fog lights integrated next to the indicators over there. And then moving towards the side, we see a very clean design. So hardly any lines. Some surface changes, of course, here going towards the fender, but the fender in itself being a very big piece, very complex to make, very hard and difficult to produce. But again, this was a radical change for Porsche. And this was something that was sort of in the air at the time. Think of Jaguar with the E-Type, a big sports car, initially with a 6-cylinder, later with a V12. Porsche with a 6-cylinder 911 with the engine in the back. And more car companies were moving towards a more profitable, larger typology. So larger cars, not specifically sports cars, but more GTs, Gran Turismo cars. So Jaguar went from the E-Type towards the XJS, and Porsche went from the 911, at least that was the plan, towards the 928. And of course we know now that this was a fantastic motor car, but back in the day it wasn't received very well because it was a change that was too radical, unfortunately, for a lot of the customers. Again, a radical change for engineering, from a 6-cylinder in the back to a V8 in front, and from a sports car to a GT. But what a lovely piece of design. Highly modern with these integrated, flush, color-coded bumpers, small spoiler lip here on the front, and then of course the very typical teledial wheels, these sort of 5-hole, very typical of the day and age, the 70s of Porsche design. Moving towards the side, we see this super clean, lovely sectioned door coming from that fender that shows a bit of a bulge over there, but again, very subtle, highly modern. Again, think of this car as a car being designed in the 70s, and bar, of course, the small wheels and some details, this is actually still a car that looks very modern. Utterly clean window design, a lovely, unique graphic, again a recognizable graphic for the 928. With then that last quarter light here that pushes around the corner there towards the rear end, which in itself again is a radical change for Porsche design. Not anymore the light bar from left to right. Of course, in the very late 928s they reintroduced that again, but this early model with the tail lights being pushed into that bodywork to create this beautiful facette here, making the car look sturdy, strong. It's a feeling of thickness, so to speak, a volume that truly makes this car that unique car it is, this lovely 928. Here this very large bumper piece, similar again to the front, completely integrated and flush with the body. And think of the cars from the 70s and the 80s. Hardly any car had a radical, integrated plastic bumper like the 928 here. And then of course we've got the Porsche script there, integrated again in the design, making this super clean, super pure Germanic design. Recognizable as a Porsche, but a completely different car compared to the 911. Great detailing too, like the facette that's running around the rear window, helping to create this bit of volume surrounding that rear glass area, making the car look just that little bit more solid, more Germanic. They truly pushed the engineers and the designers on this project. Everything was possible, massive budgets, because this car had to save Porsche. In the end, it didn't, but that was the aim, and everything in this car, in this design, speaks of that very hard push that was present at the time within Porsche. Let's have a quick look at the interior, because the radical design changes don't just stop at the exterior. Come and have a look. At first glance, we see these 4 seats, so 2 separated seats in the back, and then of course the radical Pasha interior option that makes this 928 just a fabulous spec. This great green, bright exterior paint, complemented with the leather and then the Pasha on the seats, the door panels and the rear seats. Let's dive into the interior. So there we are inside of this radical design change for Porsche, the 928. And like I said, the exterior innovation is definitely carried forward here in the interior. We see, of course, the Pasha upholstery here on the door, but also how that door floats into the dashboard and then wraps around the passenger as well as the driver here, truly cocooning you inside of that modern interior with these lovely materials and these great shapes, including, for instance, air vents here in the door panel. Innovation was not just there, it was literally in front of the driver too. This steering wheel, including the entire instrument binnacle, was to be adjusted for taller or for smaller drivers. So you would always find the exact right ergonomic position, being able to look through the steering wheel on your dashboard, looking at your speedo, at the voltmeter, the temperature meter, etc., etc. Everything in front of you, including all the buttons and switch gear. Great ergonomics, starting already this early in Germany at Porsche. Thank you for tuning in again to another Kaeve Highlight video, in this case on the radical piece of design, the Porsche 928. Please enjoy the view of its lovely silhouette, and I'll see you in the next Kaeve Highlight video.